spamming those comments. All of those things will help boost this live out and across the FYP to draw the crazies into debate. So while we're waiting on our first guest here, make sure to say what's good in that comment section down below. Additionally, let me know how you feel about the topic here. Drop a smiley face on this quick poll if you like it, sad face if you don't. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start pulling guests up here. A couple quick preliminaries before we start pulling the guests back up. If you are in the guest requests, make sure that you are at least 18 and make sure that you think being lesbian is wrong and you have an argument for it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see what they have to say. Hello, do you think that being a lesbian is wrong?
It's absolutely wrong.
And how old are you?
I'm 25 years old.
All right, and why do you think it's absolutely wrong? Thank you for the paper crane.
Yeah, it's not just...
Test.
Hello, could you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay. Can you tell your grandmother to stop calling you?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can! Why do you think being a lesbian is wrong?
Because at first I take contention with the premise of your question. Because lesbianism is not a real thing that exists. You can't say, oh, is lesbianism wrong or is it right? It doesn't exist. How can you say something is wrong or right if it doesn't even exist?
So real quick, where are my lesbians at? Put a one
There's
in
no
chat.
such thing as lesbian. Women don't have sexuality. This is what you don't understand, bro.
Put a one. Hush down. So Haley doesn't exist. Riley doesn't exist. Sierra doesn't exist. Callie doesn't exist. Libby doesn't exist. Ellie doesn't exist. Jack doesn't exist. Eden doesn't exist. Kylie doesn't exist. Gray doesn't exist. Gracie doesn't exist. Marcy doesn't exist. Nick doesn't exist. Your local banana doesn't exist. Parsley doesn't exist. Corey doesn't exist. Ellie doesn't exist. Killer doesn't exist. Otter doesn't exist.
Listen, are you here to debate, or are you here to get exposed, or are you here to just talk and ramble?
I'm here to flex my massive biceps on you.
I don't know which one you're here for. I'm much bigger than you, by the way. You seem very small, at least compared to me. But I just have to tell you, women don't have sexuality, right? Because sexuality is about your relationship to penises. If you're a man and you have a relationship to another man's penis, you're gay. If you're a man...
Okay, so 1 sec, you cannot say the word G-A-Y on the live, right? If you're going to reference same-gendered attractions between men, just say lesbian for boys. I think that's a pretty funny way to say it. Just for whatever reason, TikTok silences the word G-A-Y. And TR, thank you so much for the 5 subscriptions.
And
WTR
also,
in that chat. Thank you for the love, TR.
And also, I have to say this. When that one day, a few weeks ago, when you got exposed on that one live, it was very funny. But that's besides the point here. The point is that
one day on that one live, I've
on Envy's live, yeah, you got exposed. I remember very clearly. Thank God I was on the
Does
audio.
anyone else remember very clearly?
I have it recorded actually, so if you want to see it, or if anyone wants,
do you
to see
watch it back and jack off to it?
Sometimes I do. I'm just playing.
Okay, makes sense. So,
the thing is, let me get back to the topic.
So your argument is that lesbians don't exist?
No, lesbianism is not a real thing because women can kiss other women, and they wouldn't be considered lesbian. They wouldn't be considered their sexuality, if people even consider them to have sexuality.
So I'm gonna just go ahead and make this. I'm gonna go ahead and make this very abundantly clear for you. So a lesbian woman is a woman who is sexually attracted to other women.
Women have an innate desire for
so,
penises,
ma'am, sir, I'm gonna go ahead and finish. So there is women who are not sexually attracted to men and or penises at all, in the same way you're not sexually attracted to men and or penises.
Yeah, but that's not absolutely true, because women do have an innate desire for penises. They do.
Okay.
This is what you're denying.
You know what? I'm going to leave this to y'all. I need a couple lesbians to hop in the guest request.
You're denying the truth.
I need a couple lesbians to hop in those guest requests.
You're denying the truth. So I don't know. I mean, we can
I need a couple lesbians to hop in those guest requests. Oh, he got flagged and banned.
Shit.
Okay, anyways, I guess I'll just still go ahead and prove his point. Are you sexually attracted to penis?
No.
W. Libby! W. Libby! Moving on to our next guest. Hey, if you're a lesbian in my guest request, I'm so sorry. Please leave now. I feel bad, but he got banned. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next guest here. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? How old are you?
I'm 18.
Awesome. Do you think that being a lesbian is wrong?
Yes.
All right, and why so?
Because it's a sin.
Oh, it's a sin.
It's not a sin, actually.
Christian. You're a Christian,
not a sin.
right?
An abomination.
Oh, okay. So Princess, I appreciate you for the crown. So you're a Christian, right?
Thank you for the crown princess. That was so
Yeah,
cute.
they actually didn't give that to
I'm
you.
not tripping. Like I fuck with you because you're funny.
So you're a Christian, right?
Yeah. Are you a Christian? Because you do read the Bible. I know you read the Bible. Like
I
where do
read
you
the
stand?
Bible. Hey, I have an inkling that you don't. What are the first 4 books of the New Testament?
I don't read the Bible. I've been reading the Bible lately.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. Hey, I got a question. Is ethnic
My
cleansing
favorite book
always
so
wrong?
far. My favorite book so far is, well, honestly, I was gonna say Job, but Matthew's. I'm fucking with Matthew right now. I've been reading the Bible lately. Not a lot of people read the Bible, so don't judge me.
Nice. I didn't ask, with all due respect.
You
Do you think
did.
that ethnic cleansing is always wrong?
Oh, I actually don't know what that is. When you say that in your live the last time, I kept asking you and you didn't tell me.
So it's the eradication or unaliving of a group of people because of their ethnicity.
The eradication and the unaliving of a group of people because of their ethnicity.
Yeah,
No, I
that's what
don't
ethnic
think.
cleansing is.
Yeah, it's kind of like the. Well, yeah, that was a beliefs Holocaust, but yeah, I don't think killing anyone because of their beliefs, skin color, anything is right. Actually, I don't believe that. That's right.
Okay, so then you don't think God's all good because he commanded ethnic cleansing in 1 Samuel 15:3. God told Saul to gather his men and smite the Amalekites and utterly destroy all that they have and spare them not, but slay both man, woman, infant, and suckling.
No, I do believe God is all good because freed slaves. He ordered people not to be enslaved. I forgot where it was. I think it was. I
Okay,
want to say Hebrew, but I really don't know.
so
I
so then
do.
you
I
don't
do
think that
believe God.
ethnic
Hey,
cleansing
hey,
is
hey.
always wrong?
No, I don't. Like I said, I don't believe killing people for their race, beliefs, or anything is right. But
So
that's
that's
not
what
the
God
conversation.
commanded.
That's not the conversation, though. The
No,
conversation is,
that's what God commanded in 1 Samuel 15:3.
well, God is all good.
So ethnic cleansing is not always wrong. It's sometimes okay, like when God commands it.
God never said to ethnic cleanse. God's belief is not to ethnic cleanse.
He definitely did. Do you want me
Oh,
to
wait,
read
wait.
you the
Okay,
scripture?
actually, yeah. Can you tell me why he did that, though?
I mean, I think that some people will say it's because the Amalekites were bad
Some
people.
people will say, does the scripture not say?
So, ma'am, 1 second. I'm like, it's like you could say it's justified. The point of this conversation isn't to debate you and show you that it's not justified. The point of this conversation is actually for you to admit that you think it is, right? Which would force you to say that ethnic cleansing isn't always wrong, right?
Doesn't
But
mean
God
lie.
definitely
I
does
don't lie. I'm
command
not
ethnic
lying.
cleansing.
That's like against my beliefs. I don't lie.
Okay, so then, so you do think that God did something wrong in 1 Samuel 15:3 where he commands it, right?
I
Because
said that I don't believe that it's right to kill people, you know.
you're
Because
insufferable. So did God do something wrong when he commanded ethnic cleansing or not?
did God do something wrong when he commanded ethnic cleansing? Who did he command ethnic cleansing to?
The Amalekites.
What did the Amalekites do? Who are the
I don't
Amalekites?
know. Are you saying that ethnic
Right,
cleansing
so how
could
do
be
you not
justified in some
know?
contexts?
I mean, honestly, everything that God does is good, so it is justified.
Okay, so you don't think that ethnic cleansing is always wrong.
No, I believe that I believe that you shouldn't kill people because of their beliefs.
Okay, this is so contradictory. You're saying it's justified, but it's not justified simultaneously?
If you don't know the story and I don't know the story, then I can't say
Hey,
what's
fuck. If God
name
was
calling?
justified in ethnically cleansing the Amalekites, this means that you don't think ethnic cleansing is always wrong.
All right, let me look it up since you don't want
Get
to
the
tell me.
fuck off my live. Moving on to our next guest. I'm not putting up with that shit, all right, chat? I'm not putting up with that shit. I'm done talking to her. I've talked to her like 4 times. I can't do it. How old are you?
21.
21. Sweet. Do you think that being a lesbian is wrong?
Honestly, I just came on here to tell you that I really love what you do.
Love you, pooks. Moving on to our next guest. Let's go ahead and see what K6 has to say here, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone, give us a moment. All right, give us a moment. Right, we're gonna go ahead and see what our next guest has to say. Just allow us a minute here to get our next guest up in here. We are not letting that last guest up again. I've had too many conversations with her where I've just wanted to rip my fucking hair out. So we're done doing that. Hi, Nevaeh. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Perfecto. Do you think that being a lesbian is wrong?
No, I don't. But I did want to say, like the last.
Banished. Moving on to our next guest, guys. Please, if you're in those guest requests, make sure that you think it's wrong. Thank you for handling the low-hanging fruit in the chat. Moving on to our next guest here. Everyone, just allow us a second. All right, where are we at? You know what? We'll go ahead and talk to Mr. Ollie. Hello, Ollie. You obviously think that being a lesbian is wrong. Why so?
Well, yeah, Dean. I think that girl. I don't really know the one that was up a minute ago, but No, I think what she. No, she didn't know what she was talking about, so I can't even say that. But I will say this: I think that you took it out of context a little bit. Um,
Well, I'm not
you,
interested in having a conversation about my discussion with her. I'm interested in having a conversation with you and why you think being a lesbian is wrong. TR,
all right,
thank you
let's
for the
get
cap.
it. Let's get it. All right, so basically, lesbian. It's not like I don't see it as wrong as being gay.
Okay, don't say GAY on the live. That'll get the
Oh, I
live
don't see it
taken
as
down.
wrong as being
Lesbian for boys.
G4Y. Sure.
Okay, so do you think it's wrong?
I think I would say that it's just unnatural. I'm not even gonna come at it from like a biblical, standpoint.
Okay, and I'm so sorry. How can like two men being together be worse than two women being together?
Well, women can't really have intercourse.
Okay, so you're just well, I bet women don't have intercourse with you often, so I want to expect you to
Well,
understand, but
hold
they
up,
definitely
Dean.
can.
Let's not shoot shots at each other now. Let's just
No,
keep this
I'm
civil.
not shooting shots. I'm speaking the truth here.
So listen. So I don't think no two women can't have intercourse. Wait, can they?
They can.
Okay. Let's see. And besides, like a scissor, whatever. Like, what other is that what you consider intercourse?
So they can scissor, they can use their fingers, they could use other parts of their
But
body.
that's not intercourse, though.
strap-ons.
That's not intercourse as we know it. That's like
It's not intercourse as you know it.
That's unnatural.
Oh, it's okay. I have a question. Hey, you know, Ollie, you know why I brought you up?
why?
Because I have a friend. Well, there's this girl that we both know, and she's openly bi as hell, and you have hit on her hard as shit. You've even
Who?
sent her money. So it's just funny that you're coming up here talking about how it's so wrong and unnatural, but then you'll turn around in private and hit on and send money to a very, very bisexual woman.
When was this?
Yeah, what you know
I need
about
the
Alyssa,
receipts.
sir?
I need the receipts.
Does the name Alyssa ring a bell?
I haven't sent her any money.
So you know exactly who I'm talking about then.
Yeah, but I haven't
You
sent
know
her any money.
You know exactly what I'm talking about
She is
again.
so clout baiting, bro. She's clout baiting.
You
I
know
haven't sent her any money.
you
I have not sent
know
her a dollar,
exactly
dude.
who I'm talking about. And then
Bro,
you'll come up
I'll-
on live and you'll talk all this shit
Bro,
about how it's so
bro, I have
wrong.
not sent her any. I will delete my account if I've sent her $1, bro.
That is so crazy. You have been on her live, actively flirting on and hitting on her.
Not sent $1. And bro, I
You're
haven't been
not
on
even
her live
denying
since
it.
last year,
You're
bro.
not even denying it. You're not
I haven't
even
been on one of her
denying
lives
it.
since last
That's
year.
why I brought you up. That is
Hold
why
up.
I brought you up.
One, I have not flirted. Okay,
Bullshit.
bro, because I'm nice to
Bullshit.
women. Dude, don't you advocate for being nice to women? So I'm nice to women too.
You were
I
being
just
a little
proved
bit
it.
more than nice to her, okay?
Bro, I was being very nice.
Yeah, very nice is a way to
The
put
same
it,
way
sir.
I'm nice to you and everybody else, man.
I don't know if I'd say it's in the same way unless, you're not telling us something about yourself.
Dean, I'm not. I'm straight, dude.
Yeah, I don't think it's as nice.
You
right?
just told me I was flirting with a woman, so how could I be like?
That is openly bi as
I'm not bi.
shit. No,
Oh
no.
my God,
She
bro.
is openly bi as shit.
I didn't know
As
she's bi.
shit.
I didn't
No,
know she's bi.
cap. Absolute cap.
I think
Absolute
I think
cap.
that's
Anyways,
kind of closeted.
back to the conversation at hand. Why do you think it's unnatural? What is the definition of unnatural?
Would it be bad for me to say that like I don't have a problem with like people who are for the same, they play on the same team, but like I'm just not like for it.
How can you be for like what? Okay,
I mean,
what
I'm
does
not
this
gonna
mean?
go to I'm not gonna go to a Rainbow Pride parade, but like sure, like I'll have a beer.
Okay,
with them.
so you don't think it's wrong?
I guess not.
W concession. Moving on to our next guest, ladies and gentlemen. He sounded so fucking defeated there. We're gonna go ahead and see what our next guest has to say, y'all. If you are in the guest request, make sure that you do think being a lesbian's wrong. Our live got taken down for 10 minutes, and now it's not sending out, y'all. If you want the live send out, make sure that we're double tapping. Make sure that we're sending out this live to a couple of friends. And also, if you want to support me, my Venmo and my PayPal are in my bios, ladies and gentlemen. What's up? How old are you?
I'm 18.
Perfect. What year were you born in?
2006, January.
Okay, yeah. Do you think that being a lesbian is wrong, sir?
Well, yeah, I think being in that
Just only say lesbian. I'm already
lesbian is wrong.
Why?
And listen, man, I'm Muslim, okay, and I think it's very wrong from a religion perspective, but I think it's wrong from like an open perspective too, because
Okay, so which one do you want to talk about? I'll let you choose because either way, this is going to be brutal.
Okay, let's talk about the open one, okay? Like
Dodging a big bullet there. So explain to me the secular reasons as to why being a lesbian is wrong.
All right, so first of all, I think it's wrong because you all are getting this whole lesbian shit into the kids, okay? Like into our kids, into the schools, kindergarten type shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Hey, did you have a crush on any girls in kindergarten?
Well, where I was born, we didn't have a kindergarten, and the schools were separate, so I was only with boys. And
Okay,
girls
when you were like the age of a kindergartner,
yeah,
did
of
you have
course,
crushes
like,
on girls?
Yeah, of course I had a crush on girls.
Oh, okay, so then obviously the lesbian little girls are also going to have crushes on little girls. And it should probably be socially accepted and explained at a level in which is adequate for their grade so they could understand their attractions in the same way you understood yours. I don't see the issue with this.
Yeah,
but additionally here, we're not even here to talk about, right, the quote-unquote liberal agenda. We're here to talk about the idea of same-gendered attractions and if you think they're wrong. So we can have that conversation and then go on to this apparent perpetuation of the liberal
I'm not
ideologies
talking
that
about the
doesn't fucking
agenda.
exist.
I'm not talking about the agenda. I just want to go to your point there where you said like a lesbian little girl could be attracted to another girl. I mean, how would you know if you're fucking, I don't know, 3 years old, you're attracted to girls? Like,
How did you know? You told me that you were attracted to girls.
Yeah,
at 9 years old.
listen.
How did you know?
of course I would know that.
It's
if
no
I-
fucking different. It's literally no
of
different.
course
There's
it's
no
different.
differences.
It's different. I'll tell you how.
No,
I'll tell
there's
you how.
none.
I'll tell you how. When you just got born, okay, you grow up, you just see like your parents, your mom and your dad, that's female and male, your aunt, your aunt, female and male and female, everything around you is female.
Yeah,
and male.
I didn't have two parents that loved each other when I was growing up. Yeah, they were separated at a very young age, right?
But they
So
were
how did I
female and
know
male.
that I was
They-
attracted to other girls when I was in kindergarten?
Were they
an innate
female
sense
and
of self.
male? Were your parents female and male? They were, right?
well,
You
of
knew
course
you had a
they
dad. You knew you had a dad, and you knew you had a mom.
But see,
That's-
I'm not attracted to people based upon the representation of what I saw growing up.
Yeah, but if you're
Because,
just 2 years
sir,
old.
I have to finish. Hey, sir, I'm finishing.
Alright,
You're not
alright.
talking, I'm talking.
Alright.
Right? Because who you're attracted to isn't caused by what you see growing up. It's not caused by social influences. It's caused by your anatomy and your biology. For instance, like the Netherlands Institute of Brain Research and the Center for Neurodoctrine Studies at the University of Pittsburgh in Massachusetts did a whole load of tests on the human brain and our neuroanatomy. And basically what they concluded is that straight men have different brain shapes and sizes than GAY men, as well as different associations on the genetic code. And these things are hard-coded into us in our gestational development. And that is what induces our sexual attractions. So, parental figures or what we see in society cannot change, shape, or influence our sexual attractions in the slightest because these social issues cannot change, shape, or influence our brain shapes and sizes or our genetic associations.
Well, how does my brain size decide what gender I'm attracted to? Like, does it decide like if I'm attracted to a frog? No, doesn't really match, in my opinion. I mean, I understand that.
Then why do we see the associations with like a larger anterior commissure and different traits of the AI NH3 subsection of the hypothalamus, dependent upon one's sexuality?
Well, I did not just understand whatever the fuck you said, but can you repeat that? I didn't understand that. I'm sorry.
Listen, in a very simplistic sense, there's
Yeah.
a straight brain and there's a GAY brain, right?
Yeah.
Nelly, I appreciate you for the galaxy. I thank you so much for the love. And that is a very simplistic overview, right? I'm just putting that out there. But
Alright.
it's true. It is true, right? So these attractions are caused by biological predispositions.
Okay, so it doesn't change the fact that if you're in kindergarten or 3 or 6 years old, it will decide what you're attracted to, right? So let's say I'm 6 years old, okay, and I don't know anything about this world. Like I have a little sister, she's 5 years old too. She really doesn't know about anything.
Yeah, they're fucking 5-year-olds. They don't know about shit.
Yeah, no shit. It's kindergarten or it's kindergarten age, right? And she wouldn't know what she's attracted to. She's just playing with both genders, but there's no way she knows what she's attracted to. Okay?
Wait, some do, some don't. I remember having like very like elementary crushes in kindergarten.
Yeah,
Like
but
some do, some. I don't see how this is relevant to the idea of like being a lesbian is wrong.
no, we're just talking about like how it's wrong to put those ideas in the schools and kindergartens. But if you want to talk
Wait. I don't. Put what ideas?
those
What, name an
ideas,
name an idea. Name an idea.
what,
Name
like
a
here in
lesbian
Germany?
idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you an example. Here in Germany,
Sarah, I appreciate you for the galaxy. Thank you so much for the love. W Sarah in the chat. Name an idea.
they want to make kids touch each other in the kindergarten. That's an
Yeah,
idea.
so that's a
an example.
fucking lie. That is an
No,
absolute
that's
lie.
not a lie.
Shut
You
up with the
can't-
bullshit. Shut up
you
with the
can't
bullshit.
search that.
I'm not gonna allow you to spread misinformation on my
I'm
live.
not.
I'm not going to allow you to listen. I'm going to clear this up very simplistically. That's a fucking lie, but even if that were to happen, it would be wrong. But why the hell would this reflect on lesbians?
No, it's a fucking idea. I'm gonna tell you right now. They let kids touch each other in the kindergarten so they know what their attraction is.
That's such a bullshit
No,
lie.
you can search it up, man. You can
Give
search
me
it
evidence.
up.
What do I search up?
I
That
don't
is
know,
such a
fucking-
lie.
Go to Google right now.
And
say-
type in what?
type. I don't know, like, well, wait. Let me search.
That is okay. While he's looking that up, chat, make sure we're double tapping. I think our stream isn't sending out after that 10-minute takedown, but it's all right. We're gonna try to power through it here. That is such a lie. Oh my god, what a wild lie, chat. What a wild lie. And yeah, low key, y'all don't look that up. I don't want you guys to be on like an FBI watch list. Okay, don't look up kids touching kids. Don't look that shit up, chat. Don't look it up. Don't look it up, chat. Don't look
It's
it
in
up.
German. The article is in German, okay, but it's about a woman talking about how she was in the kindergarten, talking about what her kid taught her happened in the kindergarten, and she wrote the whole ass article. Okay, I don't know if I can send you a
Okay,
link.
listen. Even if that happened, okay, there's some fucked up.
No, that
culture in
happened
Germany.
personally to
So,
me, man. Listen, I can give you an
Ellie,
example.
L. Jane, I appreciate you for the money gun. Thank you so much for the money gun. I appreciate you for the love. Okay, nice. This doesn't mean that being a lesbian's wrong, with all due respect. So
Yeah,
why is being a lesbian
my point
wrong?
was pushing this shit in the kindergarten. Okay,
That has no association with lesbians. Zero.
of course.
So why is
Making
being a lesbian
kids
wrong?
touch each other, it's very wrong. I
Yeah,
mean,
making kids touch each other's wrong. Sweet. Now that we got that out of the way, why is being a lesbian wrong?
all right, getting out of the kids' way. Being lesbian is wrong, in my opinion.
Lily, thank you for the subscription.
I don't know, man. It's just kind of disgusting. It just doesn't work. We were not born.
Hey, is shit disgusting?
Shit. I mean, there's people that eat shit. Did you watch Two Girls One Cup?
Is shit disgusting? Tabby, thank you for the coral.
Doesn't disgust me. Listen, let me finish, man.
So you're saying that human shit doesn't disgust you, but two women holding hands does?
Maybe holding hands not. I mean, my little sister and my mom hold hands. It's.
Oh
not
my
a
god, I
custom.
can't do this. All right. At the end of the day, I'm more likely to believe that you think it's wrong because of your religion.
My religion, and I find it disgusting personally.
I don't say it's disgusting though. I'll get my life taken down. Hey,
sorry.
how old was Aisha when she married Prophet Muhammad?
Listen, man. Listen, man. We don't get. I haven't talked about religion. We don't talk about religion. Okay. I just
Why
say
not?
I don't like it. Okay. I just say
Okay.
I don't
How
like.
old
this-
was Aisha when she married Muhammad?
relationship. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
You don't read your hadiths?
Listen, man. I read my Quran, not my hadith. All right.
Okay. She was 6.
There's a difference. There's a difference. Okay. I read my Quran, and we ain't talking about that.
Aisha was 6.
Okay, she was 6, but listen, back then
So you did know how old she
it was very, very normal. Back then, it was very normal, right?
Just because something is like socially
Normal, I know, it doesn't mean it's
normalized
right. It
doesn't mean that it's right.
I know.
But you think that
Slavery
your
isn't
prophet,
right, but it was
you
normal
think,
back then,
you-
right?
You think that your prophet was a sinless man, do you not?
Well, listen, man, I'm not that much into religion, okay? I don't think that Muhammad is a sinless man. I don't think.
So you
it's
reject the
mentioned.
Quran.
No, I don't reject the Quran. The Quran is not my prophet's words. It's my God's words.
Okay, but the Quran states that Muhammad
It's the
committed no
prophet,
major
yeah.
sins.
It's what? No, I don't think that's even right. The Quran doesn't even say that Muhammad is sinless.
It says that Muhammad commits no major sins.
No major sins, but he commits sins.
Sure, yeah. Hey, is
Yeah, it
is
doesn't mean
having
Muhammad is sinless.
is having sex with a 9-year-old a major sin?
Well, I don't fucking know, man. I mean, yes, of course, it's very fucking. No one would do that. But back then,
Muhammad
the
did.
1600s. Back then, the 1600s. I don't want to say it like that, man. Do not get your life banned. But doing that was, I guess, normalized.
It's just so funny how you will defend literal P3DOs.
I'm not
but-
defending a P3DOs. It's my prophet, okay? Sorry, chat. It's not 1600s.
Your
it's
P3DO
the
prophet.
1400s. Well, back then it wasn't a pedo. I mean, it's very not good, okay? It's not normalized.
my
It's
God.
not good. But why are
All
we
right,
talking
we're
about?
moving on to the next guest, chat. We're moving on to the next guest. Listen, we may have to restart here. I don't think that the live is sending out anymore. But we're probably gonna restart here in a minute. What's up, man? How old are you?
28.
Perfection. Do you think that being a lesbian is wrong?
Yeah.
Why so?
Well, it depends. I think the only way you can have objective morality is from God. I'm Muslim, and therefore I believe that God has revealed that it's wrong.
Oh, okay. So just to clarify, you think 2 women holding hands sexually is wrong, but you think a 50-year-old marrying a 6-year-old isn't?
No, the Aisha thing is a bit more complicated than that. There are different opinions on the age of Aisha. I personally don't believe
what's
she
your
was
opinion?
9.
How old do you
my
think she
opinion,
was, when they
18.
were married?
My opinion is that she was 18 when they were married, which is a minority opinion.
Can you-
but it is
can
an
you give me
opinion
any
held by
evidence of that?
scholars. Yeah, there is evidence for that. So the evidence is, firstly, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence from hadith that pin Aisha's age at different points of her life. You can use.
You know what? Let's just go ahead and do this. Scholars say that she was 9 when it was consummated. That's a minority fringe opinion of.
No, it's not. It's not a consensus
of
view.
Western. Yes, you understand that
It's not a
no one.
consensus view.
Sir, let me finish. Before
I can educate you
sir,
on Islamic
no,
view.
I can educate you on Islam to
You
some
can't.
degree.
You can't.
Yes, and the
You can't.
education in which I'd offer you on Islam is
You
prior
can't
to the
educate me on
westernization of Islam. One second, sir. Calm the fuck down. All right, you're
No, I'm
acting
calm,
like a
G,
child.
but just don't talk to
So
me like
prior to the westernization of Islam, like no one thought, none of the church fathers thought that she was
Church
anything but
fathers.
6.
Church
But then all of a sudden,
What
when
do you
it
mean
was
church
westernized, sir, yeah, we're speaking about the leaders in the context of the Islamic faith.
Okay, so not church fathers, scholars.
So you could call them whatever you want to call
They're
them.
not church fathers, they're
I
scholars,
understand
bro.
that the word that church fathers is a westernized term, and that there is probably a more adequate way
No,
to
it's just
refer
wrong.
to the leaders. One
It's
second,
just
sir.
wrong.
You're gonna go ahead and go on mute now. There's probably a more adequate way to refer to the church, to like the church fathers or the leaders within your faith. I don't deny that. But that's just the way I'm gonna reference them. So prior to the westernization of Islam, no one thought anything but she was six. And I would also like say that I do think it's good that you take a
Read
fringe
Ibn
view.
Taymiyyah.
That I'm gonna go ahead and finish. I do think it's good that you take a fringe view that she was of age. I think that's not a bad thing for you to do, but that's definitely not the consensus. But greater yet, I don't think that there's any evidence to suggest that the Islamic God is real, and I think that there's a lot of problems that are entailed by an all good, perfect, all knowing creator. I don't think that an all good, all knowing, perfect creator could exist with the current state of reality.
Whoa. Okay, that's a very heavy claim. Look, I understand you got to go through people rapid fire. So, what do you want me to address?
Well, I mean, you don't need to necessarily address any of that, but because you're a little cocky, I could go ahead and just shit on your religion real quick.
Go on,
Can I run an
try.
argument?
Try.
Awesome. Is God good?
Yeah.
Do you think he's all good?
Yeah.
Awesome. You think God's all good. So yeah, I have a question. Why did God allow the Holocaust to occur?
Because God created a world with free will, and so the Holocaust occurred due to free will of human beings. Simple
So
as that.
I don't think that having the ability to do bad things is necessary to have free will. For instance, does God have free will?
Yes.
Can God do bad things?
Yes.
But I thought he was all good.
He is.
How can an all good God do a bad thing? Is that a contradiction?
No, he can do, but he doesn't.
Oh, wait, but
You said can he?
if God could do bad things but simply doesn't, then this would mean that goodness is not an essential attribute of God's.
You said
like
can do in the sense that is able to. God is able to do anything, but doesn't do bad things.
wait, God is able to make contradictions true?
No.
No, God can't make contradictions true. Would an all good God doing something evil be a contradiction?
Anything that God does is not evil by definition, because by definition, goodness is that which God does. This is the
So
point.
it is a contradiction, right?
It's not a contradiction.
So an all good God doing something bad is not a contradiction, really.
God would not do something that's bad.
Honestly, you're not answering my question. Is an all good God doing something evil a contradiction?
An all good God would not do something evil.
You're not answering my question. Is an all good God doing something evil a contradiction?
No, I am answering your question. An all good
Yes
God
or no? Hey, Fatty, are you capable of answering yes or no questions?
If you stop stuttering, I will give you the answer.
Yeah,
An
yeah,
all
I'm
good
sorry.
God-
I have
an all good God- an
Hey,
all
sir,
good
hey, real
God-
quick. I have a stutter. You telling me to stop stuttering won't fix it.
You haven't stuttered at all until you-
I understand that you are getting upset. I understand that you are acting like a baby, right? I do have a stutter, and sometimes it is especially like present when people interrupt me, right? That is a fact that I can't change. So, anyways, so an all good God doing something evil is or is not a contradiction.
An all good God wouldn't do something evil.
Okay, so go ahead and answer my question. Is an all good God doing something evil contradictory to its nature?
Yes.
Awesome. So if God cannot make contradictions true, and God doing evil is a contradiction, then God cannot do evil.
Would not do evil.
Wait, no. Literally. All right. Premise 1: God cannot make contradictions true. Premise 2: God doing evil is a contradiction. Premise 3: God cannot do evil. Sorry. Conclusion: God cannot do evil.
Okay, I agree.
Okay, you agree. God cannot do evil. So you said that God has free will and God cannot do evil. So having free will is compatible with not being able to do evil.
I think free will as it applies to God is different. So God has created human beings with the capacity to do good or the ability to do evil.
Then in what sense is
Because
doing
one of the
evil
attributes, if I
necessary
may,
in order
look,
to
I
have free
expand.
will?
Just quickly, one expansion. Fair play. You got me with that one. Fair play. The thing with God is we believe that one of the attributes of God is that God is forgiving. He is the forgiving God, right? And so He created human beings with the capacity to sin and the capacity to do good. And part of that is, in order for God to manifest His attribute of forgiveness, humans have to be able to sin to then be forgiven, right? So, yeah, we believe that God created humans capable of doing evil. I think a better argument for you to take would be, why do natural disasters happen? I don't think the Holocaust is a good example, to be honest.
No, not at all. I find this to be a good argument. So it seems as if you've admitted that God could have created humans to have free will without having the ability to sin. However, God wanted to actualize his forgiveness, and he wanted people to glorify him through him giving his forgiveness for their sins. So, well, I mean, the reduction of this claim is that all of the evil and bad things should occur, ultimately speaking, because God wants to be able to forgive people. And a world with evil and suffering is preferable to God over a world without evil and suffering.
So I would say that God has revealed his nature to us, and it is a necessary attribute of God that he is forgiving. He didn't choose to be forgiving. That is a necessary part of his nature.
Yeah, so like evil and sin is necessary for the greater good, right?
You could argue that it necessarily follows from creating human beings with
Awesome.
good.
So it's necessary. So would you say that there exists any unnecessary evil, suffering, or sin in the world?
Yeah, anything that's born out of humans' free will.
Wait, but if it's unnecessary, then in what sense is it necessary for God's forgiveness?
No, it is necessary. It's necessary that human beings. Or
So
any,
there isn't.
any.
So-
any,
so-
any it
So
is
there isn't.
necessary
So there
that
isn't any unnecessary evil in the world, right?
There isn't any unnecessary evil in the world.
Right? Because it's necessary for God's forgiveness.
We can go with that.
Okay, right? So it's necessary. It has to occur. And would you say a world without the evil and suffering, would all things considered be worse because God wouldn't be able to forgive?
No, so let me answer it in a way that's not yes or no, okay? And yeah, fair enough, I stuttered. This is the thing. With our worldview,
Hey man, I'm not a bully. I'm not gonna like shit on you for
you
stuttering.
are, but it's fine. That's why I hit you like that. I've been watching you for a bit, so I thought I'd give you a bit of your own medicine, which is fair play. Now listen.
No, and then we see you get shit on.
Well, I wouldn't say so, but you've got your biased views, so that's fine. Let me speak. The perspective of the Islamic in a nutshell is this: this world is temporary, this life is temporary, and the afterlife, the final life, the true life is eternal. And so, essentially, in a way, this life is meaningless. That is the Islamic conception.
So the Holocaust, all things considered,
The
was
only purpose of
You
our
laughed at that.
existence, the only purpose of our existence is to worship God and is to discover our true meaning. It's a temporary thing. The Holocaust is human beings who, through their own free will, have caused other human beings to suffer. Now, are you a hard determinist? Is that your perspective?
No, I'm a compatibilist. So there's a couple things that we've learned here
Yeah, no,
today.
I'm a compatible. We are compatibilists.
So
We're
there's a couple things in which we've learned here today. The first thing that we've learned is having free will is not necessarily predicated on the ability to choose to do bad. In fact, having free will is compatible with only being able to choose the good. But in fact, God just preferred a world in which there exists bad. And the second fact that
that's not true. That's not true.
It definitely is true.
It's not true, not from our perspective. The Islamic perspective is that one of God's attributes is that he's forgiving, right? So,
Okay, so that's an issue because then you'd say, so do you think that God?
why is that an issue?
Yeah,
that
because
just
then,
is what it is. So give me a second.
No. I'm. If you will stop interrupting me, I'll tell you the issue. Because if it's necessary that God forgives, then it's necessary that God creates. Because creation is required for God to forgive, right? So would you say
Yeah.
that God had to create us?
No, God did not have to create us.
So then God doesn't have to forgive.
Yeah, God chooses to forgive.
And if God just chooses to forgive, it's not necessary for him to do so. God simply preferred it.
So how do we know anything about God?
You won't respond to that.
No,
you
no,
won't
I'm asking
respond
you.
to that.
I'm asking
you
you
won't
how-
respond to that. You were saying it was necessary for God to forgive, but then you see the issue there because that means that it's necessary for God to create. But you don't want to say that God was forced to create us. So at the end
when
of
I
the
say- when I
day,
say-
the
when I say
only
it's
reason
necessary,
evil and
when
sin
I say it's
exists is
necessary,
because
this-
God prefers it. This
Okay, let's say-
sadistic
I'll give you that, I'll give you that,
motherfucker
I'll give you that.
prefers there to
I'll give
exist
you that. Okay,
evil,
okay.
sin, and suffering
Hold
so
on,
we
hold
can
on, hold on,
turn
hold on,
around
hold on, hold
and
on.
feel like
Dean,
Superman
chill out,
by
chill
forgiving
out,
us
chill
for
out,
our
chill
sins.
Chill out, G. Okay, God prefers it. And what? God prefers
What?
it. Okay.
So yeah, an all good God would prefer a Holocaust over no
Define good.
Holocaust.
Define
an all
good.
good God would
Define
prefer.
good.
It's an internal critique.
Define
Goodness,
good.
It's an internal critique. Goodness
How?
would follow from however
How
you
is
would
this an
define it
internal
to be so.
critique?
Because I'm showing you how an all good God, in the sense in which you would take him to be, is incompatible with the world in which we live in. Because here are the facts that we know so far.
What's
You were
this- in
saying that
what
God
sense have I-
prefers
what's
a
the sense that I
reality.
would take it
One
to
second.
be?
I have a question. Hey, is a world where 3.6 million children starve to death better than a world where 3.6 million children don't starve to death per year?
Who has the ontological right to make that decision?
Well, I'm asking you from your perspective. And you could take the perspective that you'd have faith that God would hold, I don't care, right? But all things considered, which version of reality is more preferable? One where 3.6 million children do starve to death, or one where 3.6 million children don't starve to death?
So this is a sort of an argument, an appeal to
appreciate you for the
emotion.
suffering.
It's an appeal to emotion, but philosophically, you haven't given me any reason, any ontological grounding for the idea that suffering in and of itself in a transient, temporary world is an argument against the existence of God. Give me 10 seconds. 10 seconds. This is our.
Why won't you answer my question?
No, because I want to give you because we're kind of going.
Because I'm giving you the
Look,
logical
Dean,
problem of
Dean,
evil.
Dean.
One second, sir. I'm
Go ahead,
giving
go
you
ahead.
the logical problem of evil. But unless you are able to engage with this point, I won't be able to give it to you. Right? Like for instance, I'll just ask you this question: is there any fact of history that shouldn't have occurred? Name one thing that shouldn't be the case.
So, from our vantage point, we obviously would wish that human beings, through their free agency, would not have committed certain acts, right?
Name one. I'm asking you a question. Name one thing, one fact of history that shouldn't have been the case.
So, I shouldn't have violated you earlier and had a go at you for stuttering.
Okay, so I have a question. Would God agree with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so God would think that you shouldn't have done that. Why did God allow you to do that?
Because God chose to create a world within which human beings have free will.
We've already talked about this. Having free will is compatible with only being able to do the good.
I'll tell you something. Our conception.
No, don't pivot around this. I'm
not
gonna
pivoting.
go ahead and finish this point out. Earlier, we agreed that having free will is compatible with only being able to do the good. If God allows something to be the case, it isn't for the mere reason of free will. I would say it's for the reason that God thinks it's good. Right? We would expect an all good God to only allow things in which are all things considered good. Right? Like, I'll just ask you this question to prove my point. Do you think that an all evil God would only allow things that are ultimately evil?
I think an evil God is a contradiction in terms.
That's fine. We're speaking hypothetically here. If an all evil God exists, which I agree with, probably couldn't occur given reality as it is, right? If an all evil God were to exist, would they only allow things that are ultimately evil?
No, I mean, not necessarily.
So you think an all evil God would allow things in which are ultimately good?
An all evil God may want to create, again, agents of free will who will choose to do what he wants them to do, which is evil.
So would an all evil God allow something that is ultimately good? All things considered, it is good. Yes or no?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay, so then they're not all evil, because when we're looking at a God, like
I'm happy to concede that. If your definition of an all, no, but then it comes down to definition.
An all evil God's primary motivation and or concern when they're determining what they want to allow or not allow would of course be evilness. Because if it wasn't evilness, right? If it wasn't evilness, then the God wouldn't be all evil. Right? So anything and everything in which an all evil God would allow would ultimately be evil. Like, for instance, we wouldn't expect an all evil God to allow there to exist a heaven of eternal bliss where everyone's happy, because they would only allow things that are ultimately evil. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, that I can agree on. That an all evil God would not create a world within which there was eternal bliss. Right?
Awesome.
So when we say all good, look, I don't disagree with you, but I want to give you
an all good God.
Let me just give you one quick thing.
Let me land my plane.
Land your plane, but then please just give me 10 seconds.
I will. You're covering your mic. You're covering your mic right now.
Go on.
So
go on.
if an all evil God would only allow things that are ultimately evil, then an all good God would only allow things that are ultimately good. So anything in which is allowed, anything in which should occur, right, is good, right? And what we can determine based upon this is everything in which has occurred should have occurred as it was allowed by an all good God, right? And we know that God doesn't determine what he wants to allow on the basis of free will, because free will is compatible with only being able to choose between the good. In fact, God could have created a reality in which there existed no evil, no suffering, or no pain, and still could have given humans free will. Right? So you essentially have to take the perspective that all of the quote unquote evil and suffering that exists is necessary for the greater good. Because if there exists any unnecessary pain, evil, or suffering that didn't lead to a greater good and God allowed it, that would be a contradiction.
Can I hop in?
Yeah, sure. Do you agree with my conclusion there?
I'll give you our perspective, and that's it. We don't believe that truths about God can be purely rationalized de novo in this way. We believe in a revealed nature of God. So the rationale is as follows. We believe that God has revealed his nature to us, and that nature cannot be just, in a Kantian way deduced in a dark room without anything else, right? And so
you're saying we can't we can't comprehend God with logic? God falls outside of logic?
We cannot completely comprehend God. I would say that what you could do...
Can God make contradictions true?
Hold on. What we can do, I would say, is deduce that a God must exist, and I favor the Kalam cosmological argument. But what I would say is, you might not like that, that's fine, you can roll your eyes, but I like it. But what I would say is God has, our belief, you could take it or leave it, is God has revealed his nature to us.
Does God fall outside of logic?
And has given, no, there is logic.
God falls with inside logic. So
God
therefore
has given us
deduce
reason.
that. So therefore we can deduce.
Hold on.
God,
to be honest, I did stop interrupting you for like a long time. I just want that.
Fatty, with all
10
due
seconds.
respect, the reason that I'm interrupting you here is because you're essentially saying that we cannot comprehend God and his nature.
That's not what I'm
to
saying.
any extent within
That's
logic.
not what I'm saying.
Yes, you are, because I gave you a valid philosophical argument. I laid it out premise by premise, and I gave you my conclusion. Right? You agreed with every premise, but you disagreed with the conclusion, and then your response to this was, "Well, it's God, so your silly little argument doesn't matter." Well, if God falls with inside logic, then of course it matters, because this is a logical deduction. You're committed to the conclusion of the argument if the premises are true. So I'll just simply ask you which premise is false.
The premises that we would give about the way we derive God's nature is the word of God, is the text that you read sufficiently impressive and sufficiently...
You're not telling me which premise of my argument is false.
No, I'm giving you my argument.
Okay, before you give me
why do I believe?
Before you give me your argument, engage with mine. I'm not going to allow you to pivot like that. I've been giving you an argument for the last 20 minutes. I will not let you pivot, move away, and give me yours. Why? Because I want you to engage with my content. It's disingenuous of you to pivot away when you find yourself backed into a corner. Engage with my argument. An all good God would only allow things in which
I have lost track. Give me your succinct nutshell quickly.
Right. Awesome. So an all good God would only allow things in which all things considered should occur, or in other words, things in which are ultimately good. Premise number one. Premise number two.
Okay, that premise I disagree with.
Then why did you agree that an all evil God would only allow things that are ultimately evil?
I also didn't agree with that.
Sure you did. Do you recant
No,
that?
I said that an all evil God may create beings capable of doing good.
Okay,
from their vantage point, their preference would be that he creates.
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why it's bad for you to disagree. I'm going to tell you why it's bad for you to disagree. I'm going to tell you why it's bad for you to disagree with that first premise. So if you disagree with the concept that an all good God would only allow things that are ultimately good, well, then you're rejecting that God's all good. Because
define all good. Define all good.
I'm going to go necessarily good, right? Does the good in all possible worlds. So I'm going to go to repeat myself. If you'd reject the idea that an all good God's primary motivation and or concern when they're discerning what they want to allow is goodness, well, then you're rejecting the idea that they're all good. Right? So what is God's primary concern when he's discerning what he wants to allow and what he wants to not allow?
God is good, but if your definition of all good is that every single thing that God creates is there, a maximal experience for every agent, then that is not our definition of all good.
So number one, I told you that my definition of all good was doing what is that God is necessarily good. He does the good in all possible worlds. God cannot do the bad. Because
Yes,
goodness
that's true,
is an essential
but
attribute of his
we would
character.
say that
that's only
goodness
number
is-
one. That's only number one.
It's
Don't
a
muddy the
bit
waters. Answer
circular,
my
though,
question.
because-
What is God's ultimate concern when he's deciding what he wants to allow?
The goodness is not separate from God. Goodness is we
Fadi,
define
answer
good.
my question. What is God's ultimate concern when he's discerning what he wants to allow and when he's discerning what he doesn't want to allow?
I mean, I don't know exactly what God's considerations are, but God is a good God.
His
And
ultimate
we define-
consideration would be
the
goodness.
problem is, Dean, you
because
know
he's all
this.
good.
The problem
Stop
is, Dean.
pivoting.
Dean,
Stop
no,
pivoting.
I'm not pivoting.
No,
I'm not-
you absolutely are. If God's ultimate concern when
I'm
he's
not
discerning
pivoting.
what he would like to allow,
I'm not
if it's
pivoting.
not goodness, then he's not all good.
I'm not pivoting. We define.
We
okay.
already agreed
Is
that an all
goodness
evil
separate
God,
from God? If a God
Bro,
exists, is goodness
oh my
separate from God?
You're incapable of
Listen,
engaging
you're
with that
you're
argument.
incapable
I
of listening.
listen.
to
I
that.
am
Is
30
goodness
seconds
separate
away.
from God?
I'm
Is
30
goodness separate from
I'm
God?
30 seconds away from kicking you and moving
Bro,
on
you
because
can
you're
kick me now.
incapable
I
with
don't
engaging
care.
with the
I'm
content.
here to talk to you, innit? If you want to kick me, go
You're
talk to someone
absolutely
else.
and
I don't
utterly
care, fam.
incapable of engaging with the content. I've
I
backed
am
you the fuck
engaging with
into
you.
a corner.
Is goodness
and you
separate?
can't
Is
engage with it.
goodness? Okay, I'll engage with it. Goodness is not separate from God. So whatever God decides to do by definition is good. Full stop. Full
Okay,
stop.
so that's fine. That's a descriptive account of goodness. When we're talking about the logical problem of evil, we're talking about a normative account of goodness. Is there things that God should or shouldn't do?
This already assumes a separate standard. God sets the standard.
So is there things that God should do, or isn't there things that God should do? And you could say his nature is his standard for what he should do, and he always acts in obedience with his nature.
No,
That's
it's-
a way to
that- what
explain
I-
it, and which would
that
follow from a
which
descriptive
God
sense of
does-
goodness.
That which God does, by definition, is that which should be done, because that is necessarily part of the definition of God.
Yeah, and that's fine. So you do think that there's things that God should do. So if God does something that he shouldn't do, that is a contradiction.
That is a contradiction in terms.
Awesome.
Everything that
So
God
we've-
does, by definition, is good. Yeah.
So we could agree on that. So we
yeah,
could
we
agree
agree
on that.
on that. Yeah. That's fine.
Awesome. So yeah, here's the argument, right? So like essentially anything in which God would actualize should be actualized. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Awesome. So God actualized a world with evil and suffering. Therefore, a world with evil and suffering should be actualized.
I'm happy to agree to that.
All right. God actualized a world with evil and suffering in which included the Holocaust. Therefore, a world with evil and suffering in which included the Holocaust should be actualized.
Sure.
Awesome. And as God is perfectly rational, well, what in which he would actualize is perfect as well. So any other possible world, such as one that did not include the Holocaust, would be worse than the one that we live in, correct?
Sure.
Awesome. So the Holocaust should occur because if it didn't occur, the world would be worse.
That is what naturally follows from that. Yeah. Sure. What's your what moral standard? I mean.
So my question
so
to
what?
you,
My
and
question
what-
is, so what?
So yeah, that's an absurdity. Like obviously everyone's gonna look at you and be like, "You're fucking crazy" because you said the Holocaust should occur.
No, but this
But
is
that's
an appeal
yeah,
to emotion. You've been
yeah, of
given
course,
it the big one.
Of course,
but that's
of course.
not a. So what?
Philosophically speaking, you're right.
But we're speaking
right?
in philosophical
So-
terms. What I
So
tried
then
to
here's my
pivot
question to
other-
you. Here's my
to the
question
re-
to you.
to our actual theology.
In what sense is it evil if it should occur? Because when we're talking about normative goods and normative bads, something is good if it should occur, and something is bad if it shouldn't occur. And if you're saying that all things considered the Holocaust should occur, all you're saying is that all things considered the Holocaust is good. Then that's the argument.
And what? And what? What does that doesn't disprove anything? I mean, that all that you might not like that, but it doesn't. You're not proving anything. That that's not really.
So-
it's almost besides the point. What you're saying
The refutation of this is that evil doesn't exist under your worldview because everything is good. So when your
evil
scripture
in the sense that evil in the sense that something that would contradict the will of God. Yeah, we believe in compatibilism. So we believe that on the one hand,
nothing in which exists would contradict the will of God because he willed for the best possible state of affairs.
Yeah, we believe that.
So nothing
we
in
don't
which
have a
exists.
problem with that.
There's nothing that exists that contradicts the will of God. Therefore, there's
Absolutely
nothing that
not.
exists
Yeah,
that is
absolutely
evil. The evil doesn't exist under your worldview.
If you define evil as something that is outside of God's control, which is essentially what you're saying, then no, there's no such thing as evil in that sense.
Wait, is
But that's
anything
where
in which is inside of God's control evil?
But this is where the whole
Is
point
God's will always good?
the whole point of compatibilism. Look at
Sir,
now,
is God's will
don't just
always
throw
good?
premises at me. Yeah, let me expand my thought now.
Sir, is God's is it does is
No,
there
listen,
anything
listen,
that falls in
listen,
God's will
listen.
that is bad?
Dean, come on. I went down your thing. I didn't
Fadi,
pivot.
is there anything
Now-
in God's will that is bad?
No, of course not.
Everything in God's will is good. God
Yeah, of
willed
course.
for the best possible state of affairs. God willed
Yes.
for everything in which exists.
Well, I've just said
Therefore,
yes to
everything
all
in
of
which
this.
exists is not bad as it falls within God's will.
Yes.
Evil doesn't exist. Let's fucking go. All right, you're done. You're cooked.
I mean, if that's how you want to play it, that's how you want to play it. That's not how. That's not how we would put it.
Absolutely fucking obliterated.
Not at all, because the evil you're talking about is not the evil we talk about. We talk about sin.
Define sin.
We talk about sin. So sin is deviance from the prescribed path that God has laid out for us.
Yeah, you've already
We
told us
believe
that
in
nothing deviates from
compatibilism.
God's will.
We believe in compatibilism in the sense that whilst we are not able to articulate the mechanism. We are not able to articulate the mechanism, but we're not able to
Yeah,
articulate
hey,
the mechanism.
Fadi, with all due respect, you're just saying words. Nothing falls outside of God's will, remember?
We're not able to articulate the mechanism by which God can predetermine.
Deviance from God's will doesn't exist.
Deviance from God's prescribed path is different from deviance from God's will. And that's why you need compatibilism to rationalize a world with free acting moral agents and an omnipotent.
Katie, I
omnipotent God.
appreciate you for the blowing. Sorry for the blooming. I appreciate that. Sure, you could say that there's some difference between God's prescribed path and God's will, but at the end of the day, it's not meaningful to this conversation because God's will is always good.
So, our perspective, God has revealed his will, he's revealed his prescribed path, he's given us reason to believe it. There are a number of prophecies, there are a number of evidences that the revelation is from God, and within that
None of
revelation...
this is relevant. None of this is relevant.
No, it is relevant, because that's our theology, and that's
None
why
of
we
this is
believe
relevant because you think that God's will is always good and everything falls inside God's will. Premise number one, God's will is always good. Yes or no?
Good is one thing. Ontological good, good with a capital G underscore, as in unable to deviate from God's will. Yes, but humans can still commit sin.
Hey, sir,
or no?
everything that falls in God's will is good.
No, reply to what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that this is the whole point of compatibilism. That on the one hand, an omniscient, omnipotent God creates a world and by definition knows everything that's going to happen. At the same time, you can have free agents with free will, moral agents. We don't necessarily understand the mechanism between the two and how that happens, but we accept it.
So you didn't really say anything there. You just said that people have free will. Yeah, we've already went over the fact that it's possible to have free will and not sin. So it's like any sin in which exists was preferred by God. But premise number one...
God prefers a world within which humans are able to sin. Yes, I don't deny that.
Premise number one, everything in which God desires, wills, or prefers is good.
Say that again. Sorry. Say that again. It cut out.
Premise number one, anything in which God desires, wills, or prefers is good.
Yes. We've gone through this. We've gone
Awesome.
through this.
Premise number two, God desires, wills, and prefers everything in which exists in the world as we live in the best possible state of affairs.
God desires a world within which free acting moral agents exist and are able to do good or able to choose to sin. Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
would you say that there's any outcomes of the free agents in the world in which God doesn't desire?
So all of this for us gets kind of counterbalanced by the eternal life, which I haven't been able to put in.
Are you able to just respond that there is or there isn't?
I don't do yes or no's. I have done, but you have to take our theology into account. We
Just
believe
sum it
in the
up. I'm not here for the
eternal life.
preaching. With
Yeah, no,
all,
I'm
with
not-
all,
bro, I'm not here to preach to you, and I'm not
with
trying to
all due
convert you.
respect, is there any actions committed by these supposedly free agents that God does not will or desire or prefer?
So that comes back to compatibilism, which I've
So the
tried
answer is
to
no.
articulate. I've
Is
tried
the
to
answer
articulate
no?
that. I've tried to articulate compatibilism.
Is the answer no?
God has created a world where he's allowed humans
Sir, is there any actions committed by these free agents that God doesn't prefer?
Yes.
Like what? Give me an
But-
example.
But I think the thing with prefer in the sense that
I'm asking you for an example.
by definition, any sin.
Give
By
me an
definition,
example.
any sin.
So then, if God didn't prefer sin, he wouldn't allow sin, as it's
But
not
God-
required to
but
maintain
you could
free will.
Okay, I'd come back at you and say God preferred a world within which people chose his path.
So he does prefer the sin.
In that sense, in the philosophical sense, yes,
Yeah, he does. He prefers the sin.
Dean,
You're
Dean,
getting absolutely
Dean.
fucked on right now. Premise number one, God's preference,
Dean,
God's
Dean.
desire, and God's will is always good. There is no action in which has, does, or will exists in which God doesn't have a preference, will, or desire for.
prefers a world
all
within which
preference-
humans can sin. A world within which humans can sin.
We've already went over this.
That's
Not
it.
only does God prefer a world in which humans can sin, he prefers the sin. And any difference between these two statements are not meaningful. Agree or
No,
disagree?
but I agree. But at the end of the day, this
Yeah,
is an
you agree.
yeah,
You-
it is.
okay, you just
But
fucked
this is
yourself over.
This is an articulation.
You just,
we're going
you just
to be
fucked
honest. To be
yourself
honest
over.
with you,
You absolutely just fucked yourself over. You just agreed that it's not a
we're
meaningful
going round. We're going
distinction.
round in circles. So let's just leave it in it. That's my
No,
perspective.
Fadi, listen, I don't have any fucking patience nor any fucking time
pipe down, pipe
for
down,
you dumb
pipe down, pipe down.
theists that try to use semantics to rationalize your worldview.
It's not semantics.
It is semantics. You agreed there was no meaningful distinction between God preferring individuals to have the ability to do bad and God preferring the bad actions in of themselves. It is strictly semantics. You're getting dunked on right now. And all this because you decided to pipe up in my comment section and make fun of my stutter. You could have avoided all
No,
of this.
you're not stuttering now. You don't have a stutter. That was cap. Let's not cap.
Okay, so first of all, you're not going to tell me what I do and I don't have. I have a stutter, and you can fucking cope. I would feel so embarrassed if I was you right now, right? And
Well,
also,
I'm
on
not.
top of that, don't try to explain my stutter. Don't try to explain my issues. It's not present right now. You're right, but I don't control it. It's here sometimes, not here the other times. I couldn't tell you why it happens. It just does. But the point here is that God prefers everything in which exists in our world because we live in the best possible version of reality.
Which I've agreed to many times.
Awesome. So, and everything in which would exist in the best possible version of reality is all things considered good, right?
Yeah, I've agreed to this many times.
All right. So, yeah, sin doesn't exist.
No, sin does exist. We
So
talked
good
about
things are sin?
compatibilism. That's the point of compatibilism. That is the whole point of compatibilism.
So sin is good?
A world within which human beings can sin is good.
No.
Yes.
The sin in of itself.
No, the sin in of itself is not good. No.
So then not everything that exists is all things considered good because sin exists. Like, come on. Anything else?
Nah, that's me, man. Good chatting. Good chatting.
All right, y'all. We're gonna go and move on to our next guest here. Yeah, we've gotten like 10K people in here in the last hour. This shit isn't sitting out. We may try a restart here. Y'all. Someone in the chat called me anti-Semitic. Can someone who the fuck said that? I would love for you to explain why. Let me scroll up here before we move on to our next guest. I wanna bring them up. Who the hell said that? Who the hell said that? Oh, anti-semantic. Okay. I guess they said anti-semantic. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next guest here, chat, and then we're probably, you said anti-semantic. I thought you said anti-Semitic. I was like, what the fuck? Okay. All right. It looks like we're gonna go ahead and try one more guest, and then we are gonna hit a quick restart, see if that helps us at all, because obviously our
Yo,
stream
what's
isn't
good,
sitting down.
Dean? What is good,
Uh,
Dean?
What's up? How old are you?
I'm 19, bro. 2005 I was born, bro.
Awesome. Do you think that being a lesbian is wrong?
Nah, I don't, bro. I just wanted to say something, man. Can I say something, bro?
Why not?
All right, bro. I love you so much, but here's what I want to say, bro. I'm opposed of everyone. I love everyone, but if you're lesbian, I'm straight, right? But if someone is bi and lesbian, I'm like, come over to the house and have a threesome, bro. There's nothing wrong with that. You feel me? Like, enjoy the life, enjoy this, bro. Love everyone. You feel me? Have a threesome. Everyone, come on, man. Say W in the chat. My name is Jay, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? Hey, don't leave. Don't kick me out, bro. Please. I'm a troll. This is what I do. So, no L's, no W's. Everyone just put W in the chat. Please follow me. I love you, Dean. Peace out, bro.
We're gonna restart our stream. To the 1.6 thousand people in here, y'all, come right back. I'll be right back, chat. I'll see y'all soon.